Everyone together, please. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashatai Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Everyone together with both our hands raised high above. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Once again, everyone together, both your hands high up, and let's chant out loudly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, we welcome you all for the next episode of this Mahabharata series. And all of us are meeting probably after a week, maybe a little more than that. So at least at my side, I'm extremely happy to see you all once again. And I hope you all are keeping safe and healthy. So we had been doing 2 sessions of Mahabharata parallelly. One was a kind of a story-based, where we quickly reviewed the whole series of Mahabharata, which was taken by Shardul Prabhu and his guest Anand Shesh Prabhu. So that was concluded the previous weekend. I believe the last episode of the discussion was on Saturday. However, we have been going through Parvas in this series of Mahabharata discussion where we're trying to cover the whole Mahabharata. So we are still a little behind and it will continue for some more time. So we'll start with today's discussion. Then at the end of the session, we'll take I'll give you some suggestions what we can do on the other days, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, 4 days. Maybe we can do something else. So I'll give you some suggestions and then we'll take your feedback about it. So with that as a little background, let's begin with the session for today. I will be disabling the chat as some of you have requested, so we all can stay focused on the session. So we are on the 17th episode, and today's topic is Bhishma Parva. So this Parva refers to the first 10 days of the war of Kurukshetra. The war of Kurukshetra is about to begin, and Bhishma Parva, this particular chapter of Mahabharata, or the canto of Mahabharata, focuses on the first 10 days of Mahabharata. And that is what Bhishma Parva is all about. And it has some very important discussion, beginning with the war at Kurukshetra, war of Kurukshetra, as well as the consequences. This particular Bhishma Parva, which means the 10 days of the war of Kurukshetra, also talk about or highlight the death of Uttara's brother. You know, Uttara, the daughter of Virat, his brother dies on the very first day, and then on the third day, the eldest son of Karna, by the name of Brihasena, dies on the third day of the battle. And of course, as we know, on the 10th day of the battle, Bhishma or Bhishma Pitama is severely injured, and he falls down from his chariot and is no more able to continue to take part in the war. So this is about Bhishma Parva, but this is not all in all. Bhishma Parva also has something very, very important discussion, And in fact, I would say Bhishma Parva is the most important part of the whole of Mahabharata. I have enabled the chat. So here is my question to all of you. Does anyone know what is the most important part of Mahabharata? According to you, what is the most important part of Mahabharata? And that most important part of Mahabharata has been discussed in Bhishma Parva. Anyone knows? Yes, and that's Bhagavad Gita. So this Bhishma Parva that we have just started to begin discussion at also talks about Bhagavad Gita, actually the central theme and the message of Mahabharata, like that. So as we continue with the series of discussion on Bhishma Parva, we are also going to discuss Bhagavad Gita with all of you, and we'll take at a glance the whole 700 verses, how we can cover up for all of you. So in the next few days, we'll be also having a discussion based on Bhagavad Gita about it. So this is about, in brief, about your Bhishma Parva. But however, because we are meeting after a few days, so I have a quick question to all of you. Does anyone remember what was the Parva which comes before Bhishma Parva? What Parva did we discuss before Bhishma Parva? Anyone remembers, those who have been attending regularly? Many of you are writing. Yes. Okay, all right. Udyog Parva, yes, correct. The Udyog Parva refers to the peace initiative where there was all the endeavors made by Pandavas that the war can be averted. But nonetheless, it could not happen. All right, thank you. So that's good enough to start with the discussion. I have disabled the chat now, so you can stay focused on the session. Okay, so before we get into this Bhishma Parva, there is something, yeah, all right, I would not ask. I would say it out then. So there is something else also very interesting happened in the very first 10 days of the war of Kurukshetra. So as you know, in Bhishma Parva, Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Also, in the first 10 days of war of Kurukshetra, there was one person in the whole series of Mahabharata who from the beginning of the time was always instigating Duryodhana to fight with Pandavas. And that person who was so eager to fight with the Pandavas and to defeat them and to kill them, unfortunately could not take part in the war itself. For the first 10 days, he was not to be seen in the battlefield. He was not there standing by the side of the Kauravas or his very dear friend Duryodhana to fight against the Pandavas. And that hero, or that person who was most eager for fight against Pandavas, was Karna. And he could not take part in the war. Why? We had discussed last time, and I'll just give you a brief recap of our previous session, and then we'll get into the details of this Bhishma Parva. So let's take a quick recap of what happened just before the war began. What happened in the previous 7 days, the 7 days before the war of Kurukshetra began. So as we had discussed in one of the previous sessions, on one of the days before the war of Kurukshetra began, Dhritarashtra called for the final assembly. And he wanted to discuss with all his ministers, he wanted to take guidance from Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, Vidura about the strength of the Pandavas. And he wanted to know, would his son or his sons win the war? What are the possibilities? Of course, Dhritarashtra didn't want to explicitly say that he wanted war, but that was his intention. He wanted to know, will his sons win the war? So the assembly was called, and Dhritarashtra began to ask, what should we do? The war is about to happen. Is our army prepared well? How can we defend? How can we protect? Is there anything by which we can still defend ourselves, or we can avoid the war? Like that, Dhritarashtra was speaking, so Bhishma Pitama got up. Dronacharya got up. Kripacharya got up. Everyone said, hey, Dhritarashtra, you still have the opportunity. Give back the kingdom of Pandavas and the war would stop. But as you all know, from the beginning of the time, Dhritarashtra never ever wanted to give back the kingdom to Pandavas. And this time also he said, "Oh, what can I do? I am so attached to my son. My son doesn't listen to me." And like that, Dhritarashtra would always make excuse on the name of his son and would say, "Because I'm a helpless father, I love my son so much, but my son is so attached to the throne. What can I do?" Like that, he would always make his son Duryodhana as an instrument of his own desire of sitting on the throne of Hastinapur. So finally, when this all discussion was going on, Vidura became very upset. Why? Because in 2 or 3 days from then, the war was about to begin. Just like Bhishma, Drona, and Kripacharya had to fight on the side of Duryodhan, Vidura, Vidura would also have to fight against the Pandavas. And Vidura just didn't wanted that. Vidura could not tolerate that. We have already discussed, life of Vidura. We have already discussed how many times Vidura tried saving the lives of Pandavas. All of you might remember that incident of Lakshagraha. You remember the incident where Duryodhana had got a castle built for Pandavas, and he had sent all the Pandavas away from Hastinapur. And in that palace, which we call as Lakshagraha, castle of the palace, Duryodhana wanted all the Pandavas along with Mother Kunti to be burnt to ashes. And how did Pandavas survive? Because Vidura saved Pandavas. Vidura gave hint to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and at the right point of time provided the help for the Pandavas to escape the Lakshagraha. So now Vidura had to fight, and Vidura cannot tolerate it. So Vidura became very upset, and he got up and he spoke as follows. A very beautiful verse. Of course, I'm not going to ask you to learn this, but I'm just trying to get you all familiarized with Sanskrit and the verses. So I'll recite this verse, but I do have some other homework verses for you today. But I'll recite this and I'll give you the meaning of it. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 1st chapter, 13th verse, where Vidura speaks to Dhritarashtra. And what does Vidura speaks to Dhritarashtra? Sa esha dosha purshaded aste grahan pravishtoyam apatyamatya pushnashi krishna vimuko gatashri teja sashevam kulakaushalya. So here Vidura says, Sa esha dosha. Hey Dhritarashtra, ye jo tumhara putra Duryodhan hai, he is a sin personified. Sa esha dosha. He has all kind of sinful inclinations. Purusha dvid aste. And this sinful son of yours have offended the supreme personality of Godhead. Grahan pravishtoyam apatyamatya. And you have welcomed this sinful son of yours into this palace, into the kingdom of Hastinapur, considering him to be as your son. He does not deserve to be your son. Pushna Shri Krishna Vimukho Gatashris. This sinful son of yours have become hateful towards Lord Shri Krishna. How can he have any auspiciousness in his life? Hey Dhritarashtra, if you want any protection for yourself, for your family, and for your dynasty, and for your kingdom, Tayajas Asheshvam Kula Kushalya. You should immediately Tayaja means Tayajate, give up. Ashva means as soon as possible. Ashevam ka matlab hota hai inauspicious. You should give this inauspiciousness right away, throw him away from this kingdom or put him into the prison bar. Now this Vidura have spoken right in front of Duryodhana. Now Duryodhana was not used to listen his own mistakes. He was not used to receiving feedbacks. And when Vidura spoke like this, Duryodhana became extremely angry and he publicly insulted Vidura by speaking very harshly. And he said to Vidura, who had asked this son of kept mistress to come into the assembly of the kings? He is so crooked. He's always thinking about the interest of our enemies. And we have always supported him. And thus he's always thinking against the favor or against the favor of his people who have supported him. We should throw him out of the kingdom. And when Vidura heard this, Vidura was hurt. Vidura felt sad about that how Duryodhana can speak to him. But internally, Vidura was very happy. He kept his bow and arrow in the palace, and then and there Vidura left. Why was Vidura happy? At least now Vidura doesn't have to fight on the side of Duryodhana and against Pandavas and against Lord Shri Krishna. So Vidura was very happy, and like that Vidura left Hastinapur and he went all over Bharatvarsh doing the pilgrimage of different holy sites. And then at the end of the war, when war has ended, when Bhishma Pitamaha have disappeared after his giving his message to Yudhishthir, and all, the cremation of all the warriors have been done, the final rites have been performed. Finally, Yudhishthira Maharaj have been crowned as the king of the whole world. Then Vidura comes back to Hastinapur. Not to become a minister for Yudhishthira Maharaj, but to deliver Dhritarashtra. That will speak later on when we conclude the Mahabharata series. At that point of time, we'll talk about what happened post-war. Let's continue the discussion. So this is how Vidura was insulted and he walked away. He left the place, so he left the palace in that sense. And let's just go a day before the war. A day before the war, what happened at the camp of Kauravas? Why did Karna could not take war in the first 10 days of the Kurukshetra war? That was a question that I had raised before. And the reason is because a day before the war, Bhishma Pitama announced. He took 2 or 3 commitments. And the very first thing he said, "Hey Duryodhana, I'm willing to fight at your side, but I will not kill any of the Pandavas. I will destroy their army. I will destroy everyone who's standing by their side, but I will not kill Pandavas." Now there's something very interesting. For Duryodhana to win the war, it was very important Pandavas to die. Now there were 2 very powerful men, invisible men by his side. One is Bhishma Pitamaha, second is Karna, who apparently was very envious of Pandavas himself. So here Bhishma Pitamaha took a vow or decided that I would not kill the Pandavas. I would not say he took a vow, but he didn't take a vow like that. He told Duryodhana, my condition is I will not kill the Pandavas. Simultaneously, Karna had given a promise. In fact, Karna had given a promise to Mother Kunti that I will not kill Pandavas except for Arjuna. So the question is, Bhishma Pitama is not going to kill Pandavas. Karna is not going to kill the Pandavas. So where is the hope for Duryodhana to ever win the war? There's no chances. And not only that, now the big fight has begun or has happened in the camp of Duryodhana. Bhishma Pitama says, I will not fight along with Karna. Either Karna fights along with or supports you, or else I will support you. You decide, Duryodhana, who you want, me or Karna. Even before the war could begin, in Duryodhana's camp, there is a confusion going on and there is a conflict of interest. Because of this, because Bhishma Pitama said, I will not fight along with Karna, so Karna also said, I will not enter the war until Bhishma Pitama is standing. I will only enter the war when Bhishma Pitama is killed. In other words, rather than wishing good for each other on the war, the same side, the people of the same side, the same party, are cursing each other that when the other person died, then I will only enter and so forth. And like that, Duryodhana's army is getting prepared to fight the battle against the Pandavas. And at that point of day, Duryodhana asked Bhishma Pitama, can you please tell me about the power of people or the strength of the people who are supporting the Pandavas? And Bhishma Pitama begins to speak about all the warriors, all the leaders, and then he comes to Shikhandi, the daughter of Drupad, who later on became a male by the blessing of a Yaksha. Because Bhishma Pitama informed the past life, we have already discussed all these details, so I will not go too much in details about it. And Bhishma Pitama said how Shikhandi was born as a female, and later on he was blessed by Yaksha, and there was a change of a sex or the gender, I would say. And Shikhandi became a male, and the Yaksha exchanged the gender, and the Yaksha became a female. Because Shikhandi was born as a female, if Shikhandi is fighting against me, I will not lift a weapon and fight. And because of this, Shikhandi will become the cause of my death. And like that, Bhishma Pitama stopped speaking. The day ended, and the next morning, with the sunrise, the sides of the Pandavas and the Kauravas have assembled at the huge field of Kurukshetra, which traditionally had been known as a place of Dharmashetra, where the religious activities, the worship of the gods were performed. And today, the biggest battle of the time between the Asuric and, in other words, between the demonic forces and the divine forces is about to happen at a place called as Kurukshetra. Both the assembly, both the armies are facing each other, and the war is about to begin. However, the leaders of both the sides, Drishtadyumna was the commander-in-chief of Pandavas, and Bhishma Pitama was the commander-in-chief of Kauravas. Drishtadyumna, Bhishma Pitama both came in front of each other along with other leaders to decide the rules of the war, how we should engage in the war. Before we talk about the rules, there is something very special with the number 18. I believe all of you know the war of Mahabharat was fought for 18 days. So here is my question for all of you. You can take help from your father or from your parents if you wish. Uh, think about the number 18 in relationship to Mahabharat and write down what all instances of number 18 are there. For example, the war of Kurukshetra was fought for 18 days. What are other
Give me
incidents or
napkin.
instances in Mahabharat where number 18 is actually being used or has been repeated? I hope my question is clear. Once again, I will say you have to find out what is so special with number 18 by identifying all the different incidents or instances in Mahabharata where number sums up to number 18. Okay? In case if you'll have the doubt on this question, I'll repeat this question at the end of the session. So the leaders of both the armies are standing in front of each other to decide the rules of war. Now, this might sound surprising to some of us. Now, are there any rules for the battle? Now, these days, the battle happens in all kinds. In fact, if you see on the India-Pak, the LOC line of control, you might read, of course, you have kids, so you might not know about it. But nonetheless, let's not get into that details about it. In those days, the war was no less than a game for Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas used to become very excited, just like some of you might become excited to play cricket or a soccer. For Kshatriyas, the battle was like playing a game. They used to become highly excited. So before they could engage in a war, they would come and decide for the rules of it. Just like when you go to play cricket, you decide the rules for the game. Similarly, they came together to decide on the rules of war. And I'm just going to give 4 or 5 rules. There are a whole series of rules, but just to highlight. And the rules of war were decided like that. Fighting must begin after sunrise and must end by sunset. Once again, we can only fight between sunrise and sunset, which means after sunset, there would not be any fighting. There would not be any conflict. Second, the warriors should only fight with equals and with equal weapon. There are, Maharathi, Adirathi, and like that. There is a gradations. So we should fight with equal warriors. We should not engage with somebody who is inferior. In other words, a Maharathi, a great warrior, should not kill the soldiers. The soldiers should fight with the soldiers. So it should be a fight between equals. Third, one who is surrendered or one who is running away from the battle should not be attacked from the back. The fight or the combat should happen face to face. If somebody is not ready to fight, you should not shoot and kill him. It will be against the rules. As long as both the people are fighting, then the fight should continue, but not other way around. And the many servants on the battlefield carrying weapons and other paraphernalia should not be killed. like this series of rules were decided. Why I'm telling you about these rules? Because very interestingly, uh, well, I'll tell you in a short while because I'm going to speak about that incident. Then I'll tell you what was the importance of rules for it. So the two things. One was they had decided on the rules, and second thing, as we're going to see the 18 days of war, they did not continue with the rules. After Bhishma Pitama fell down, or when Bhishma Pitama was injured, he could not fight anymore along with the Kauravas, then they did not follow the rules. So Drishtadumna, he knew the Kauravas. So when they decided the rules, and at that point of time, Drishtadumna spoke the last, and he said, "Hey Kauravas, we give you the commitment, we'll never break the rules. But if you break the rules, we will not also follow the rules." And like that, now the war is about to begin. But before we get into more details of the war, let's go back to Hastinapur. Something very interesting is happening at Hastinapur. Srila Vyasdev visits Dhritarashtra. He comes to talk to Dhritarashtra, and he's talking out to Dhritarashtra. "Hey Dhritarashtra, still you have an opportunity. Stop the war. Because of your foolishness, millions and millions of people are going to die, and you know that your sons are also going to die. Why don't you return the kingdom back to Pandavas?" And Dhritarashtra, with his head hung down, "Oh, my dear father, I cannot. I am helpless." And like that, Dhritarashtra would always cry, but would never ever act as a king who could make a decision. At that point of time, Vyasa said, "You're still able to prevent what is about to happen. My dear son, do it. But if you don't, then the whole thing, the millions of people will die. And the reason why you're not doing so, because you are attached to the kingdom." Well, Dhritarashtra was not willing to listen to anyone, and he was about to let his sons and millions of other lives to be lost at the battle of Kurukshetra. So Vyasdev was about to leave, depart from Hastinapur. At that point of time, he asked Dhritarashtra, "My dear son, you want me to give you the vision so you can see the war of Kurukshetra?" And Dhritarashtra said, "My dear father, what is the use of vision? You have already told what will be the conclusion of the battle. My sons will die. What is the use of vision because of which I'll have to see my sons dying?" So then Vyasa said, "Okay, Dhritarashtra, if that's the case, I can give the vision of Kurukshetra war to Sanjaya. So at least Sanjaya can explain you what is happening at Kurukshetra." And that is how Sanjaya got the vision. And after getting the vision, Vyasadeva went. And now Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra are sitting at Hastinapur. And at that point of time, Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya, and that makes the first verse of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Dhritarashtra speaks. So Bhagavad Gita begins with the words of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra vacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaved yuyusavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata Sanjaya. So this would be one of your homework verses for today. I'll be sharing this homework verses after the end of the session on your WhatsApp group. This is first verse of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And here Dhritarashtra speaks to Sanjaya. He says, "Dharma kshetra kurukshetra." वो जो धर्म की पुण्य भूमि है कुरुक्षेत्र, उसमें क्या हुआ संजय? मेरे पुत्र मामका और पांडु के पुत्र दोनों युद्ध भूमि पर आए थे, दोनों युद्ध भूमि पर खड़े हुए हैं. उसके बाद क्या हुआ? In other words, Dhritarashtra is asking, "My dear Sanjay, please tell me, when my sons and the sons of Pandu have gathered at the Kurukshetra to fight, what happened after that?" And then Sanjay begins to speak, and he describes how at Kurukshetra, millions and millions of warriors have assembled. It's just like a whole ocean of warriors who have assembled at Kurukshetra and who are eager to kill each other. And then Sanjay explains how Duryodhan goes and talks to every of his leader and inspires them to fight. And after that, all the Kauravas blow their conch, which is an indication that they are about to begin to fight. Please pay attention. Now, in the battle in those days, by blowing a conch, you indicate that you are ready to fight. So when Duryodhan and his Kaurava side, along with Bhishma, Pitama, Drona, Kripa, Ashwathama, minus Karna, okay, Karna is not there. They all blew the conch, and along with that, there were drums, there were trumpets, and all kind of musical instruments. There was a whole roaring, there was a whole huge sound, roaring sound in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And once Kauravas stopped playing or blowing their conch, and the music stopped at that side, and then the Pandavas, headed by Arjuna, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakul, and Sahadev, also along with Krishna, they blew their conch shell. And what was the idea of the conch shell? The sound of the conch, the sound of the drums, the sound of the trumpet would actually install fear or will instill fear in the heart of the opponents. So when Kauravas blew their conch, nobody was scared at the side of the Pandavas and the Pandavas' army. But when Arjuna, Krishna, and Bhima blew their conch, it was like for Duryodhan getting a heart attack. He was terrified hearing to the roaring of the sound. And along with the sounds of the Pandavas' conch and Lord Shri Krishna's conch, there was also a sound of somebody else who was sitting on the chariot of Arjuna. So who was that person who was also roaring along with the conch and the sounds of the trumpet and the bugles from the side of Pandavas? Does anyone remember? I have enabled the chat for you to type in. Who was that person who was also roaring? Yes, Hanumanji. Hanumanji had promised Bhima that at your side I would be there on the war of Kurukshetra, and I would also make a war cry. I will also scream and terrify the enemies. And this is the second verse for all of you as a homework, because we are going to meet next after a few days. So you have 2-3 verses to learn. This is Bhagavad Gita chapter number 1, verse number 15. Panchajanyam Rishi Kesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Paundaram Dadamam Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrakodaraha. And like that, Krishna, Arjuna, and Bhima blow their conch. Rishikesh, Lord Shri Krishna blew his conch by the name of Panchajanya. Arjuna blew the conch Devadatta, and Bhima blew the conch Paundara. Please learn the names of the conch. Okay, this is going to be part of your question. I'm already telling you upfront. So we're going to ask this question in your Mahabharata quiz. And after this, when Pandavas have also declared that they're ready to fight, and at that point of time, now the weapons, the army can shoot any point of time. They can start shooting arrows. But at that point of time, Arjuna told something to Krishna. And he said, this is text number 21 and 22. You don't have to learn this, but this is just to tell you what happens after the Pandavas blew their conch. Arjuna vacha senayorubhayo madhye ratham sthapaya me achyuta yavadetan niraksheham yodhu kaman avasthithan कर्मया साहयोधव्यम अस्मिन् रणसमुद्यमे. तो यहाँ पे अर्जुन भगवान श्री कृष्ण को कहते हैं, हे प्रभु, सेनयोर उभयोर मध्य, मुझे सेना के बीच में ले जाइए. मेरे इस रथ को सेना के बीच में ले जाकर मुझे देखना है कि इस युद्ध में कौरवों की तरफ से कौन कौन लड़ने के लिए आया है, कौन कौन इस युद्ध के लिए इच्छुक है और पापी दुर्योधन का साथ देना चाहता है. कृपा करके मेरे इस रथ को दोनों सेनाओं के बीच में ले जाकर खड़ा कर दीजिए. ओ अच्युत, ओ इनफेलिबल वन. उस प्रकार भगवान श्री कृष्ण, Lord Shri Krishna drove the chariot of Arjuna, the chariot which was given by Agni, the indefeatable, indestructible chariot, the divine chariot. Krishna was driving as a charioteer of that charioteer, and he brought the chariot right in the middle of the war, right in the middle of both the armies. And at that point of time, Sanjaya explains what did Arjuna saw. When Lord Shri Krishna brought the chariot of Arjuna in the middle of the armies, both the enemy and his army, what did Arjuna saw? Sanjaya explains to Dhritarashtra, and Sanjaya says, Bhishmadrona pramuktaha sarvesham cha mahishitam vacha partha pashetan samvetan kuruniti. Or Sanjay said, in the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chiefs of the world, the Lord said to Arjuna, "Oh Arjuna, look at these. These are the Kuru warriors assembled in front of you, headed by Bhishma and Dronacharya." And when Arjuna saw his great grandfather Bhishma, his lovable teacher Dronacharya, Arjuna began to tremble and he became bewildered and he became so confused that he sat down in his chariot and he turned to Krishna and he said, "My dear Lord, how can I fight against my beloved great grandfather Bhishma? How can I fight against my own teacher Dronacharya, who has taught me everything? I cannot do the sinful activities. I cannot kill my relatives. I cannot kill my loved ones. Better I leave the battle and go to the forest, so that because of me, I will not incur sin of killing my own relatives who I love more than my life." And like that, the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita concludes with Arjuna sitting down in the chariot and telling Krishna that I want to leave the battle of Kurukshetra and not to fight. What happens after that becomes the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. Then what did Lord Shri Krishna spoke to Arjuna? And that subject matter we'll discuss when we meet next time, which will be the 18th episode of the Bhishma Parva of the Mahabharata, where Bhagavad Gita, the song of God, as spoken by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna, we will discuss that. The most important part of Bhagavad Gita. So when we meet next time, we'll have that discussion. However, I just want to make one concluding point. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna got up from his chariot and he said, "My dear Lord, I am willing to fight. I am going to fight because this is for the protection of Dharma. You have opened my closed eyes. You have removed my ignorance. You have educated me rightly. And I am going to take part in the war." And when Arjuna got up in his chariot, when all the Pandavas, when all the army of Pandavas, the warriors on the side of Pandavas saw Arjuna again holding Gandiva bow in his hand, all of them became very happy. They began to cheer. "Yes, our great warrior is going to fight. We thought he's going to run away from the battle." And everyone was very excited and happy. But suddenly they saw something very shocking. They were shocked. They saw Yudhishthira Maharaj taking off his weapons and keeping on the chariot. Yudhishthira Maharaj took out his crown, took out his armor, kept it on the chariot, and he walked down the chariot. Bare hand, without any weapons, without any armor, Yudhishthira Maharaj began to walk towards Bhishma Pitamaha. And when the Pandavas and all the warriors at the side of Pandavas saw that, they were confused. First, Arjuna decided not to fight. And now Yudhishthira Maharaj, at least Arjuna talked to Krishna. Yudhishthira Maharaj did not speak to anyone. Is Yudhishthira Maharaj going to propose, or is he going to accept the defeat? Or is he going to say that Duryodhana may rule and I would take my brothers and go to the forest? What is in the mind of Yudhishthira Maharaj? And everyone in the Pandavas camp are confused. And they are speaking, "Alas, alas, what is in the mind of the Yudhishthira Maharaj?" And Yudhishthira Maharaj came in front of the chariot of Bhishma Pitamaha. On the side of Kauravas, everyone is teasing Yudhishthira and they're saying Yudhishthira is a coward, Yudhishthira is scared of war. That's the reason he has come to ask for forgiveness, but we will not forgive him. And like that, on the side of Kauravas, everyone is teasing Yudhishthira Maharaj. But Yudhishthira Maharaj does not pay attention to anyone what they say. And Yudhishthira Maharaj came in front of Bhishma Pitamaha's chariot. Bhishma Pitamaha came down his chariot and Yudhishthira Maharaj offered his respects. What happens after that? We'll discuss in our next discussion. what did Yudhishthira Maharaj spoke to Bhishma Pitama? Or what did Bhishma Pitama said to Yudhishthira? Did Yudhishthira Maharaj say to Bhishma Pitama that I surrender, I will go to the forest? Or did Bhishma or Yudhishthira Maharaj said something else to Bhishma Pitama? And how did Bhishma Pitama responded to it? And how eventually the war of Kurukshetra began? That all will be the discussion of our upcoming sessions. So with that, I thank you all for being part of today's discussion. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to see you all after a few days. So our next discussion will be on Wednesday, because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are the days scheduled for me to come and meet with all of you. So we'll be continuing this Mahabharata sessions on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And the other 4 days, what we can do is I have some suggestions that I'll give you now at the end of this small talk. So with that, thank you once again. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. We'll also open the forum for any question answers if you have now. So Hare Krishna. So let's enable the chat first, so all of you can respond to my question. So my first question to all of you, we have been discussing Mahabharata for a while, which will continue on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because on other days I have other programs. So I cannot, manage my time to have 7 days classes for all of you. So here is my question to all of you, then I'll take your questions. Have patience, okay? I'll come to all of you. So my question to all of you, should we start Krishna Leela? Should we start discussion from Lord Shri Krishna's childhood pastimes? We cannot start CC because CC I will have to do it. And as I said, I cannot come 7 days a week with all of you. I can come only 3 days. So Krishna Leela would not be done by me. Krishna Leela I would ask some of the faculties, teachers to do. But we can have Krishna Leela for all of you. So we'll announce in a short while. All right, thank you. I got your feedback. And I hope all of you are taking part in Mahabharata quiz. Please, all of you, by the way, can all of you switch on your cameras now so I can see all of you? So please raise your hands. How many, if you have taken part in the Mahabharata quiz? All of you, great. So I see all of you have filled Mahabharata quiz. Okay, now second question. Do you know we have also released the second quiz on Mahabharata? How many of you are aware that we have announced the second quiz on Mahabharata? Okay, in case if you're not aware, please go back onto the WhatsApp group. There you'll find the information. And the third question, have all of you got your results of the first quiz of Mahabharata? If in case some of you have not got it, please write to us so we can make sure you get your results. And tomorrow you will get your certificates. Okay? With that are the announcements at my side. And let me just quickly take a look at all of you who all are here. So I see Prahlad, Tanvi, Gaurasundar, Aditi, Srirang, Rishabh, Mishti, Kishangi. We see Renu. If possible, all of you can switch on your camera so I can just see who all are here. Adhira, Gopesh, Utkarsh, Haridarshan, Adi Lakshman, Paki, Nanda, Varuni, Lakshyam, Abhay Charan, Maisha, Vrinda. Okay, great. So happy to see most of you. All right. So let's have the question answers now. So those of you who have questions, please raise your hands and I'll start unmuting one by one. Adhira, go ahead first. Unmute yourself.
Prabhuji, I wanted to tell the answer, like how is 18 like really important in Mahabharata?
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead, Adhira, hear from you. What do you have to say?
Like in Mahabharata, we have 18 parvas.
Great.
And also in Mahabharata, there were the war was there for 18 days.
Yes.
And as well as King Yudhishthir ruled the kingdom of Hastinapur for 36 years, which is half of 18.
Which is double of 18.
Yeah, double of 18.
Okay.
And as well as there were 18 armies in all from Yudhishthir's side and the Dhritarashtra's side.
Duryodhan's side, great. Duryodhan had 11 Akshahani and Yudhishthir had 7, great. What else? One more thing.
I don't remember.
Anyone knows what is one more thing here? I'm not asking a question right now. Apart from what Adira has said, anyone else remember what is one more thing? Adi Lakshman, what is one more thing? Unmute yourself. You have to unmute yourself.
Prabhuji, I don't. I was have to say the question.
No. I'll take your question. Okay. So Nandakumar, what is the another 18th thing?
18 chapter of there are 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita.
Haribo, wonderful. Yes, wonderful to Adhira and Nanda. That's the right answer. Adhira covered most of it, and Nandakumar said the last thing. That is, there are 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So here is my question to all of you. So 18 number seems to be a very, very important number. So how many of you chant half the 18 number of rounds? Which means how many of you chant 9 rounds and more? Raise your hands. So which means at least we should chant 9 rounds. Adhira, right? 18 number is an important number. So let's take that as a motivation. Try to increase our number of rounds if possible. And those of you chanting 16 rounds, chant 2 more rounds to make it 18 rounds. Okay, all right. So let's come back to some questions now. Utkarsh, go ahead first.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am Utkarsh.
Yes, sir. I know you, Utkarsh.
Prabhuji, you didn't told when Krishna takes his universal form.
Oh, that's going to come in Bhagavad Gita. We have not yet started Bhagavad Gita. We'll discuss that, okay? From the next
Prabhuji,
session.
I want to share a PPT and a drawing.
Okay. I don't know how can I see the PPT, but I can see the drawing. Oh, Jai Jagannath. Wonderful. Beautiful Jagannath. Please take a snapshot of it and send it to the WhatsApp group. Oh, you can't send on WhatsApp group. Send it to me personally and I'll share on the group, okay?
And Prabhuji, can I share the PPT now?
How will you share the PPT?
No, I will share screen it. Can
And
you
what is
enable it?
What is there in the PPT?
Thoughts.
Your thoughts.
Yes.
So let me hear to the thoughts of everyone else. Then I'll come and see your thoughts. Is that okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Because let me answer the questions of others. Remind me, Utkarsh, at the end.
Prabhuji,
Sorry, go ahead, Utkarsh, once more.
Prabhuji, Nanda Krishna was also telling to take a PPT.
Yes. We'll come to all of you in that. Who else have a question here? Varuni, go ahead.
Prabhuji, I wanted to ask that if Bhagavad Gita was the song of the Lord, then like the very first shloka is about Dhritarashtra saying, so how did he come there in, because this was something which was said by Krishna himself, right?
1 second. Okay, regarding the Bhagavad Gita, because as I gave you the background, Vyasadeva had given the power to Sanjaya to see and to explain what has happened on the battlefield. So it is Sanjaya who is explaining what happened on the battlefield. So that's a background. So that's how the conversation begins. Dhritarashtra only has this one verse, Dhritarashtra Vacha. There's nothing else that Dhritarashtra have to add to the Bhagavad Gita.
But Prabhuji, Bhagavad Gita was said by Krishna, so how did Krishna get to know that what is Dhritarashtra saying at that point of time?
No. It is not like that. It is like Varuni and I are talking right now. And let's say Utkarsh is listening to the conversation and Utkarsh tells Adhira. So what will Utkarsh tell to Adhira? Varuni Vacha. Varuni said so and so to Madan Sundar Das. And then Utkarsh will say Madan Sundar Vacha. Madan Sundar said so and so to Varuni. Yes? And that is how it is written in Bhagavad Gita, because Vyasadeva had got it compiled. So he's going the flow of the story. Got it? So Bhagavad Gita, what is there is not, is what Sanjaya is speaking to Dhritarashtra, what he has heard by the blessing of Vyasadeva. Because Vyasadeva had blessed Sanjaya that he could hear and see everything that happens on the war of Kurukshetra, yet he will not get scared or afraid of it. That was a blessing. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So my request to all the kids, I will be taking a one question per person or per child. So my request is, if you have a question, please pick your one question. And then I'll come back to you later on. for that reason. Okay, Abhay Charan.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So happy to see your smiling face.
Prabhuji, I can listen your voice.
I said, so happy to see your smiling face. Okay, no problem. Looks like you can't hear me. I can hear you. Go ahead, Abhay Charan.
Prabhuji, that you takes the vow after Bhishma dies, I'll not enter into Kurukshetra war na, Prabhuji.
Yes, I will not fight along with Karna.
Prabhuji, when Bhishma that I am not. Bhishma or Bhishma bombs na, Prabhuji. That time he fall down from the chariot, Prabhuji. Means he did not died in life only, but he fall on the ground. He can't stand. Means Karna, after Bhishma, Karna came into the war na, Prabhuji. He took
I got your question, Abhay Charan. So the point was, Bhishma and Karna had decided that we will not fight if any one of them are fighting. So on the 10th day, when Bhishma was injured, his body was pierced by arrows. And after 10th day, he was not fighting anymore. Now Bhishma Pitama must have died, but because he had the blessing of Ichha Mrityu, that Bhishma only can decide when he can leave the body. That's the reason Bhishma Pitama continued to live. But he was not in a condition to fight anymore. So when Bhishma was not in condition to fight anymore, then the 11th day Karna entered. That was a background, okay? So why Bhishma Pitama did not decide to leave at that point of time? Why did not he leave his body? That I will explain later on. Why Bhishma Pitama decided to continue to live despite being pierced at every part. Yes?
Prabhuji, one more thing that I did not do that quiz. I did the second quiz, but it's not to submit, Prabhuji. It is showing email address. I did the email address, but it's showing must be a valid your email address. It is not submitted, Prabhuji.
Abhay Charan, I'm writing my email address on the chat group. You can forward it to my email address, okay? I'm sharing my email address, send it over there. Okay, I'll take other questions now. 1 second. And by the way, for those who want to leave, they're more than welcome to leave. We are having a question answers now. So session has also officially ended. Yes, Mishti, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So my question was that.
Mishti, there is something wrong with the sound at your side. It's echoing a lot.
Is it better now?
Yeah, okay. You need to reduce the volume a little bit.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes, go
so
ahead.
my question was that when Lord Krishna, you were saying the Bhagavad Gita, was everything at a standstill?
Oh, yeah, that's a brilliant point. I forgot to discuss that. No, yeah, I was talking about the rules of war. You know, you're not supposed to attack the enemy when he's not ready. So when Arjuna had kept his Gandiva bow down, so Kaur was also looking at it. So that point, that's because they had just decided the rules of the war. That's the reason Kauravas did not attack the Arjuna. And moreover, Bhishma had stopped because he was a commander-in-chief. So he did not give the direction to Kauravas to attack Pandavas that point of time. So everyone was in standstill and everyone was waiting what's going to happen. And the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna was lasted somewhere between 1 hour. Sometimes it is said 1.5 hours. So almost 1.5 hours approximately. Everyone was looking at what's happening on the chariot of Arjuna. That's the reason I said when Arjuna got up with his Gandiva bow, everyone was cheering. Now the war will begin. The war for Kshatriyas meant game. So Kauravas were happy, Pandava's side was happy. But then Yudhishthira Maharaj took out his weapon. So they were again said, when would our game begin? So I said about that, right? So that, yeah, it was in standstill. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So let's come to who else have a question? Shiran. So I'm going with one boy and one girl as a sequence. Okay. I'll come back.
Prabhuji, I have a question that why did Krishna took vow to not fight in the battlefield or not take any weapons to kill anyone?
Well, when Duryodhana and Arjuna had visited Lord Shri Krishna, Krishna decided to give this as a condition. Take my army or take me, but I will not fight. So as you know, Duryodhana decided to choose the army and Arjuna chose Lord Shri Krishna. Now why Lord Shri Krishna did not decide to fight, that we'll see in Bhagavad Gita in chapter number 11, Lord Shri Krishna says, hey Arjuna, chapter number 11 is a chapter where Lord Shri Krishna shows his universal form. There, when he shows universal form to Arjuna, Arjuna sees the Lord Shri Krishna's universal form have already destroyed everyone in the battlefield. Everyone have died, and the universal form of Krishna is devouring, is killing every warrior on either side except for the Pandavas. And that time Lord Shri Krishna says, hey Arjuna, become Nimitta Matran Sabbe Sachin, which means, Arjuna, I have already killed everyone, but you become the instrument so that you get all the glorification. So Lord Shri Krishna loves to glorify his devotees. For Lord Shri Krishna, what is difficult for him to kill anyone and everyone? There was no need for 18 days of war. The war could have ended in 5 minutes if that's what Krishna wanted. But Lord Shri Krishna wanted all the credit to go to Arjuna, to the Pandavas for the war. That's the reason Lord Shri Krishna decided not to engage, but allow Arjuna to fight. And where was Arjuna getting his strength from? The strength, the source of Arjuna's strength was Lord Shri Krishna finally. All right? Paki, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Paki.
When will the I didn't get the scores of the first quiz of Mahabharata.
Oh, as I said, you can reply back to me or to any one of them and they'll respond to you. Okay?
I asked to Pranjal Prabhu.
Yeah, so you can keep in touch with him. He will help you out with that.
Okay.
Any question from today's discussion?
Yes, Prabhu.
Let's come to that.
Bhishma and Bhishma was vowed to always be the side of the king, right?
Yes.
So he was means he didn't want to fight against Pandavas, but he had to because he took a vow.
Okay.
But so why did he got such a big punishment type that he got killed?
Okay, so when we talk about Bhishma's death, I will take your question then, okay? Then we'll discuss about why he had to die that way. Okay, Paki. Riyansh, your turn now. Unmute yourself.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a doubt.
Yes, please.
Why Krishna is in blue color?
Oh, why Krishna is in blue color? I mean, because Krishna likes blue color. He is a supreme controller, proprietor, and enjoyer. So Krishna can decide whatever he wants. So Krishna likes blue color. That's the reason he chose blue color. Is that okay?
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Who else? We have a question here. Madhvi. Okay, go ahead.
Prabhuji, my question is about the quiz.
Okay.
In the quiz, that is saying that the class has 200 children, but in normal he only has 100 children. So how is that possible?
Madhavi, Dhritarashtra had 100 sons and 1 daughter. And he also had one son born from another wife. So in Mahabharata, generally we don't hear about the 101st son, whose name was Yusava. And when we're going to talk about the war, we'll see before the beginning of the war, Yudhishthira Maharaj announced, would anyone would like to change the sides? So then this son of Dhritarashtra, who was born from another wife, Yusava, he came from the side of the Kauravas and joined the side of Pandavas. So 100 sons of Gandhari, one daughter, 101, plus this son makes 102. Okay?
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Dhruv,
Prabhuji, I had a question that who is
Dhruv, you need to be a little
Karna's
louder.
wife?
Can't hear
Prabhuji,
you.
I had a question that who is Karna's wife?
Who is Karna's wife? But so far I have not come across her name in Mahabharata in my reading. I mean, if you have any special interest, I'll find out what's the name of Karna's wife. We can check in some of the sections of Mahabharata, but so far I haven't found the name. Okay?
Prabhuji, and I have heard that when Lord Krishna was speaking the Gita, time had stopped.
Time has stopped.
Yes, when Lord Krishna was speaking the.
No, it wasn't like that. Time has stopped. Time very much continued. That's the reason it is said Bhagavad Gita was spoken for almost 1.5 hours. However, none of the armies attacked each other because Bhishma Pitama, who was the commander-in-chief of Kauravas, he did not give direction to his army to attack. That was the reason, not that time has stopped. Of course, it's not difficult for time to stop because Krishna can do any of those things, but still that was not the background, okay?
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Krishna. Yashwanti. Yes, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
I'm new to the sessions.
Okay.
Can you add me in the group?
Yes, Vishwakiran Prabhu. Yashwanti, you can otherwise type in your mobile number on the chat.
Yes,
If
Prabhuji.
it's a WhatsApp number, then our coordinator for the group would add your number onto the group.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So you can just either send me or send to the group chat or the Zoom chat your mobile number, which has a WhatsApp. So our
Sure.
coordinator would save your number and add it to the group. Okay.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Where are you from?
From Telangana, Hyderabad.
Okay. Welcome for the program. Anything else at your side?
Nothing, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nandakumar, to you now.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have read many books of Mahabharata, but I haven't come across anything where they have mentioned Duryodhan's wife's name. Have you come across anything like that?
Because they are not much important for the stories. That's the reason their references are not given.
But still, there should be some information somewhere, no?
Yeah, in different Puranas, there are information given. I read it long ago about it, but I don't remember at the top of my head the names of the wife of Duryodhan.
If you get the name, then can you tell me?
Yes, I will tell you, Nandakumar. All right.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Haribol. Who is next here now? Sonal Solanki. Please go ahead. Unmute yourself, Sonal.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have heard that Krishna's never gives a Narayan Seva to anyone. Then how Krishna gives a Narayan Seva to Duryodhana?
Sorry, say that again.
Prabhuji, I have heard that Krishna's never give a Narayan Seva to anyone. Then how Krishna gives a Narayan Seva to Duryodhana?
Well, I don't know about Krishna doesn't give Narayani Seva to anyone because there was no condition or there was no situation like this. However, it was Krishna who decided. When both Duryodhana and Arjuna had approached Krishna. And Lord Shri Krishna said, because both of you have come, I'll give you both something. So I have two options. Choose me or without weapons, who will not take part in the war, or choose my Narayani Sena. So that thing was proposed by Lord Shri Krishna himself. Okay? Hare Krishna. Rishabh Dev.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
My doubt is, Prabhuji, like you told that the commander and chief of the Kauravas side was Bhishma Dev. But in the Shloka 1.2 of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada writes Duryodhan, after seeing the military force of Pandavas, at once went to the commander-in-chief Dronacharya to inform him of the real position.
Oh, really? Dronacharya is mentioned
Yes, Prabhuji.
because Dronacharya became commander-in-chief on the 11th day after Bhishma Pitama died and died or was injured of the battle. And 11th and 12th day, Dronacharya, I believe 11th, 12th, 13th day, Dronacharya, and when Dronacharya died, then Karna became the commander-in-chief. I will take a look into that particular section. This is 1.2 Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I'll see that again. But Mahabharata says like that. Anyways, Bhishma, Drona, they were god brothers, so it could be here and there. So that details could vary. But that was the thing what Mahabharata mentions. Bhishma Pitama was the commander-in-chief. That's the reason he gave those conditions. I'm willing to lead the army, but these are my conditions. I will not kill any of the Pandavas, and I will not fight along with Karna. And on that conditions, when Duryodhana agreed, that's how Bhishma Pitama agreed to be commander-in-chief. Okay? But I'll take a look into this purport that you have said, Rishabh. Fine?
Prabhuji.
Haribol. Who else we have? We have Radha Kund. Radha Kund, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, so Prabhu's a question, but I have an answer about 18 connected to Mahabharata. There were 18 levels in Chakravyuh.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree on that answer.
Okay, good. Thank you. One more point on 18. Anything else?
No, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay. Prahlad.
Hello. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prahlad.
Prabhuji, I am Anirudh.
Okay, Anirudh. All right, go ahead.
I have a general question.
Okay.
When we offer food to the Lord, why do we ring the bell?
Oh, it's just to draw the attention of the Lord. It's just like when we enter the temple hall. So the idea is we go and ring the bell before we enter the Lord. It's just to draw the attention of the Lord. That is one of the meaning of it. I'll unmute you again. Looks like you got muted. You want to say something more, Prahlad? Anirudh?
Yes, Prabhuji. One more question. Just what's the highest mark in the first quiz?
What's the highest mark? We're going to release it soon. I'm not sure what is it because the coordinator is doing that work. I believe 45 or 47 was the highest marks as I know of. And we'll be releasing those marks, the top 10 scorers, by today evening or tomorrow morning. How much you got marks, Anirudh? Oh, you got muted again. Unmute yourself.
47.
Oh, really? Oh, so you must be the winner. Okay, great. Wonderful. Where are you from, Anirudh? Seeing you for the first time.
Chennai.
So you're joining us for the first time?
No, I've been attending from the first.
Oh, so I didn't see you so far. Interacting for the first time. All right, Anirudh. Kalindi, you have your hand up.
We don't.
Yes, you have something to say?
Nope.
Okay, nothing?
Just hearing the.
So go ahead again. Yeah, you can unmute yourself now. Okay. Yes, say that again now.
We are just hearing questions.
Oh, so I don't have to answer anything. Okay, fine. Lakshya, go to you, next to you. Then I'm coming to Haridarshan. Oh, Haridarshan is there. His hand's up. I see Haridarshan, then Utkarsh with his hands. I guess these are the two more questions we have to address. Yes, Lakshya.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to tell that I came personally to you and told for the quiz, and you said that make like quiz for them online. So I made that and I shared the link, so you can in the end of the session you can share the link on the chat box.
I'll share the link on the WhatsApp group, Lakshya, because everyone would be there on the group. They can access it easily. Or you want me to share here?
No, okay, it's okay, Prabhuji. You can share it on WhatsApp group also.
Where is the link you have sent me personally?
I sent it personally to you, Prabhuji.
On the WhatsApp or here?
WhatsApp.
Okay, I haven't seen my WhatsApp since evening. I'll take a look. I'll see the quiz and we'll share the quiz on the WhatsApp group. You're part of the WhatsApp group, Lakshya?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'll share that, okay?
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Hi, Darshan.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, you
Hare
have
Krishna,
a
Prabhuji.
session.
Oh, it's already 8:15? Okay,
Yes,
I'll just
Prabhuji.
take 2 quick questions with Hardarshan and Utkarsh, then we'll conclude now because I have to go now for the next session.
Hare
Darshan.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hari Darshan.
I think I know the name of the wife of Karn.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is Vrishali.
Okay, I am not very sure of it. So anyways, if that's correct, wonderful. Thank you, Hari Darshan.
Thank you.
Utkarsh.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you tell when Arjuna, Krishna and Bhima blowed those chores something, can you tell what did Arjuna played? Arjuna,
What did Arjuna?
which chore did Arjuna play?
Conch.
Conch.
Yes, I will give you the verse number. That's a homework verse for you to learn.
Okay,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
I'll just share it.
Prabhuji, can I share it quick? It is not that big.
Okay, yeah. How do I need to give you right to share screen. Give you
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hey, how do I give him right to share screen?
I will do it, Prabhuji.
Okay, you can do that.